Harper Ellington had always loved Christmas, but that night the lights along Fifth Avenue felt colder than the snow blowing against her apartment window. The city glowed gold and red, but inside her small Upper East Side living room, she sat alone on the couch, hands resting on her swollen stomach. 7 months pregnant with twins, she could feel every throb of exhaustion in her bones. The apartment, once warm and bright, now felt like a stranger's home, stripped of safety and joy. She glanced at the clock again. 9:47 p.m. Landon should have been home hours ago. He had left earlier wearing his tailored navy suit, saying it was a client Christmas dinner he couldn't avoid. But Harper had heard the shift in his tone for weeks now, cold, distracted, impatient. He barely looked at her belly anymore, barely touched her, barely spoke to her except to criticize or remind her of how expensive twins would be. She lifted her phone and reread her last unanswered message. The babies aren't moving much. I'm getting worried. Nothing. She tried calling him again. It rang once before going straight to voicemail. Her chest tightened, not from anger, but fear. She'd had episodes of dizziness all week, the doctor warning her to monitor her blood pressure. Stress could make things worse. Another cramp tightened across her abdomen, sharper this time. She winced, shifting on the couch. "Please, little ones, stay strong," she whispered. To soothe herself, she opened a blanket box near the couch. Inside were the baby onesies she had saved up for. White, soft, simple. She held one against her cheek and felt tears sting her eyes. She had imagined a Christmas night filled with warmth, Landon's arm around her, excitement for the future. Instead, she was counting the minutes in fear. Her phone buzzed suddenly, and her heart leaped only to crash. It was not Landon. It was a notification from a location-sharing app Landon forgot was still active on her phone. She tapped it instinctively. Her breath caught. The little blue dot wasn't near a restaurant. It wasn't anywhere in Manhattan. It was at a luxury rental house in Long Island, an address she didn't recognize, and the timestamp said he'd been there for over 3 hours. She zoomed in. Photos of the listing loaded automatically. A beachfront villa. Fireplaces. Private chef service. Romantic setups. Her stomach dropped as if the floor fell out beneath her. Her hands trembled so hard she nearly dropped the phone. The babies shifted painfully, responding to her panic. She tried to breathe, but a flash of memory hit her. The strange perfume on his coat, the hidden credit card statement, the late nights working. Her pulse hammered. Then another contraction hit harder, sharper. She doubled over with a gasp, clutching her belly. Something was wrong. She felt it. She wasn't supposed to feel this kind of pain yet. She forced herself up from the couch, reaching for her coat. She needed to get help. She needed to get somewhere safe. But her legs shook so violently she had to brace herself against the table. Another buzz. A photo popped up on her screen. Landon, holding a wine glass. Next to him, a woman in a red dress, leaning into his shoulder. Harper's vision blurred. Her heart cracked open. And then she made a decision that would change everything. She reached for her suitcase. The cold wind struck Harper's face the moment she stepped into the hallway, steadied only by the railing as another wave of pain rolled through her abdomen. Her suitcase bumped behind her, wheels clicking loudly against the polished floor of the apartment building. Every sound echoed like a warning. Every step felt heavier than the last. But she couldn't stay. Not after what she had seen. Not after realizing the man she trusted had spent Christmas with another woman in a beachfront mansion while she was alone, frightened, and carrying their twins. Her breathing turned shallow as she pressed the elevator button. Come on. Come on. She kept glancing back toward the apartment door as if Landon might appear suddenly, demanding explanations he didn't deserve. The elevator finally dinged, and she stepped inside, bracing herself against the mirrored wall. Her reflection startled, her pale, shaken, eyes swollen with tears she hadn't even realized she shed. As the elevator descended, she forced herself to breathe. She needed a plan. She couldn't go to the hospital near their home. Landon knew all the doctors. He'd find her. And something deep in Harper's instincts screamed one thing. She wasn't safe with him anymore. Not with the lies. Not with the secrets. Not with the way he'd grown colder every day since she became pregnant. When the elevator doors opened, a familiar face looked up in surprise. The night doorman, Mr. Rose, straightened from his desk, his eyes widening when he saw her condition. Miss Ellington, are you all right? You look pale. I'm fine, Harper lied, gripping her suitcase harder. Just need a cab. He hesitated, concern darkening his features. It's snowing heavily, ma'am. Roads are icy. Maybe you should wait inside? Another contraction twisted through her, and she nearly buckled. Mr. Rose rushed forward, steadying her by the elbow. Hospital? He asked, voice urgent. No, Harper whispered. Not there. Just, please get me a cab. He studied her for a moment, sensing the fear behind her eyes. He didn't ask again. Instead, he hurried outside, waving down a yellow taxi crawling through the snow. Harper moved slowly toward the entrance, her breath clouding in the frigid air. The city streets glittered with snow, headlights reflecting in long silver streaks across the pavement. The taxi stopped. Mr. Rose opened the door for her, helping her inside. Where to, Miss Ellington? Harper hesitated. There was only one place she could think of, one person who might help her. Someone she hadn't spoken to in almost a year, but had always been kind. Lexington Grand Hotel, she whispered. The cab pulled away from the curb. Harper watched the apartment building fade through the snowy haze. She pressed a hand to her belly as the babies shifted. It's okay, she murmured. I've got you. I won't let him hurt us. Her phone buzzed again. Her pulse spiked, but it wasn't Landon. It was an automated charge notification. A dining purchase from 2 hours earlier, seafood, champagne, a bill large enough to make her chest tighten. He had paid for it easily while she sat alone, counting kicks and wondering why her babies were so still. The cab continued through Manhattan's empty late-night streets. Harper closed her eyes briefly, exhausted. But the quiet didn't last long. Another buzz. A message. This time, from a blocked number. She opened it hesitantly. A single line appeared, sharp, cold, unmistakably from Landon. Where are you? Harper's blood ran cold. Before she could react, another message appeared. Don't make a mistake, you'll regret. Her grip tightened around the phone as the taxi turned a corner, the hotel lights coming into view through the swirling snow. She didn't know how Landon knew she was gone. But she knew one thing. She couldn't go back. And he wasn't going to let her leave easily. The taxi pulled up beneath the glowing awning of the Lexington Grand Hotel, its entrance framed with cascading white lights and garlands that shimmered in the winter air. Harper stepped out slowly, one hand gripping the car door, the other cradling her stomach. The snow had thickened, settling on her coat and hair as she breathed in the crisp December air. She had been here hundreds of times for work, planning weddings and charity events, but never as someone seeking refuge. The doorman recognized her instantly. Miss Ellington? Working tonight? Not exactly, Harper murmured. He frowned, noticing her trembling hands and her barely concealed pain. Let me help you. He took her suitcase and led her through the gilded revolving doors into the warm lobby, glowing with gold accents and the scent of pine. The bustle of guests checking in and couples taking holiday photos nearly made her dizzy. She looked around, uncertain, vulnerable. She hadn't planned this far. She only knew she needed someone who wouldn't ask questions and wouldn't betray her. Someone who had always treated her with kindness, even when she was just another employee in a long list of staff. Is Mr. Harriman on shift tonight? She asked the doorman quietly. The man hesitated, then nodded. He's in his office. I can call him. Harper swallowed hard. Cole Harriman, the man she had once thought was just a mid-level manager, had been nothing but respectful, patient, and quietly supportive in the past. He had never acted like the other executives who brushed her aside. But she hadn't spoken to him since Landon made her quit months ago. She didn't know how he'd react to her showing up like this. The doorman gestured toward a plush seating area. Please sit down. I'll let him know you're here. Harper lowered herself into an armchair, her body aching from the stress and the pregnancy. She pressed her hands against her belly gently. The babies shifted again, slower this time, and fear tightened her throat. Please be okay, she thought. Please. Across the lobby, elevator doors opened, and Cole emerged. Even from a distance, he stood out. Tall, composed, dressed in a charcoal suit that contrasted sharply with the chaos outside. His eyes swept the lobby before landing on her, and the concern on his face appeared instantly. He crossed the floor quickly. Harper, his voice dropped, soft but urgent. What happened? Are you hurt? The moment he stood in front of her, her composure cracked. I didn't know where else to go. Are the babies okay? he asked, kneeling beside her chair. I don't know, she whispered. Something feels wrong. He exhaled slowly, steadying his tone. Let me take you upstairs. You shouldn't be sitting out here like this. As he helped her up, her phone buzzed again. She froze. Another message from Landon. I know you're with someone. Don't test me. Cole glanced at her tightening grip on the phone. Is it him? Harper nodded, fear clouding her eyes. Cole's jaw clenched. You're safe here. He won't get near you. He guided her into a private elevator accessible only by staff keycards. Inside, the quiet hum contrasted sharply with her pounding heartbeat. The elevator rose smoothly, but Harper's thoughts spun violently. Landon's anger, the betrayal, the unknown future, the pressure inside her abdomen. When the elevator doors opened, Cole led her down a quiet hallway to a suite she had only ever seen in photos, one reserved for VIPs. He unlocked the door and ushered her inside. A warm, elegant space filled with soft lighting and floor-to-ceiling windows greeted her. Harper sank onto the bed, exhausted. Cole crouched in front of her again. Harper, whatever happened tonight, you're not facing it alone. She blinked at him, shaken. Why are you helping me? He held her gaze for a long moment, too long. Because I should have helped you sooner. Before she could ask what he meant, a sharp, sudden pain cut through her abdomen, harder than before. Stronger. Her breath hitched, her vision blurred. And when she looked down, she saw it blood. Blood. At first, Harper thought it was just the lighting in the suite playing tricks on her eyes, but when she blinked again, the truth became unmistakable. A thin red line seeped through the fabric of her maternity dress. Her breath caught in her throat, collapsing into a choked sound that wasn't quite a scream, but close. Cole saw it instantly. Harper, he said, voice sharp with alarm, you're bleeding. How long has this been happening? I don't know, she gasped. Just now, I felt something tear. It's not supposed to be like this. The babies, oh God, the babies. Her words tangled as panic surged through her. Cole moved fast, grabbing a clean towel from the bathroom and kneeling in front of her. Press this against the area, not hard, just enough to slow it. His voice was calm, controlled, nothing like her spiraling fear. Harper, look at me. You're not losing them. We're going to take care of this right now. Her hands shook violently as she held the towel. I can't lose them, she whispered. They're all I have. Cole's expression darkened with something fierce. You're not losing them, I promise. He pulled out his phone, dialing emergency services. Yes, this is Cole Harriman at the Lexington Grand. I need an ambulance immediately. Pregnant woman, 7 months, bleeding, severe abdominal pain, possible preterm labor. Harper tried to breathe, but each inhale came shallow and ragged. The pain radiated across her stomach like someone was twisting a knife inside her. She clutched the edge of the bed, knuckles whitening. A vibration buzzed against the blanket, her phone again. Cole saw the name flashing across the screen. Blocked number. He didn't pick it up, but Harper saw it and broke into tears. It's him. He knows I'm gone. Cole, he's going to find me. I know he will. He's not getting near you, Cole said firmly. The hotel has private security, and I'll handle the rest. But Harper shook her head violently. You don't understand. Landon doesn't just get angry, he destroys. Careers, reputations, everything. If he finds out I'm here, Cole interrupted, his tone dropping to something cold and unmovable. He won't get anywhere near you, or the twins. I give you my word. The knock on the door made her flinch so hard she nearly screamed. Cole lifted a hand. It's okay. It's security. He opened the door to 2 guards dressed in black, each wearing earpieces. Stand by the elevator. No one comes up without my approval. They nodded and took position. Harper stared at Cole, confusion slipping through pain. Why do you have that kind of authority? I thought you were just... Not now, he said gently. Focus on breathing. You'll get answers later. The sirens echoed faintly from outside, growing closer. Harper leaned back, clutching her stomach, eyes squeezing shut as another contraction sliced through her. It's too early, she cried. They're not ready. Cole, they're not ready. He moved beside her, steadying her shoulders. Premature doesn't mean impossible. The hospital has a top NICU team. You hold on, Harper, please. She tried, but fear clawed at her chest. She thought about the onesies in the blanket box at home, the nursery she never finished, the promises she once believed in. Everything felt like it was slipping away. The room blurred as paramedics rushed in, voices echoing around her. "Ma'am, stay with us." Blood pressure dropping. "Get her on the stretcher." Cole followed closely as they lifted her, his hand brushing hers for a brief second. She gripped it desperately. "Don't let him find me," she whispered. "I won't," he said. But, as the elevator doors closed, her phone vibrated once more. A final message from Landon appeared on the screen she could barely see. "You can't hide from me forever." And with that, the elevator plunged downward as Harper slipped into darkness. Everything went black. The harsh hospital lights stabbed through the fog in Harper's mind as she slowly regained consciousness. A mechanical beeping echoed beside her. The air smelled faintly of antiseptic and cold metal. She blinked several times, until the world stopped swirling and sharpened into shape. She was in a hospital room, white walls, IV stand, fetal monitors. Her heart clenched. The babies. Her hands flew instinctively to her stomach. Still round, still there. Relief flooded her lungs before another fear crashed in behind it. "Easy," a calm voice said. She turned her head. A woman in blue scrubs stood by her side, dark hair pulled back into a tight bun. "I'm Dr. Avery. You're safe. The twins are stable for now." "For now?" Harper whispered, throat scratchy. "You went into early labor," the doctor explained. "We managed to stop it. The bleeding has slowed, but you need strict monitoring. Stress pushed your body too far." Stress, the word hit like glass. She knew exactly what kind. "Your friend Mr. Harriman stayed with you until you were settled," Dr. Avery continued. "We didn't want to overwhelm you, so he stepped out to speak with the NICU team." Friend. The word felt strange. Cole wasn't exactly her friend. He was complicated. A lifeline she didn't expect. A question she couldn't answer yet. "Can I see him?" Harper asked softly. "You can in a moment," the doctor said. "But first I need to ask you something serious." She pulled up a chair. "Your bleeding combined with your stress levels suggests you may be in a harmful environment. Are you safe at home, Harper?" Harper froze. Her heartbeat grew frantic, echoing in the monitor's steady beeps. She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. Dr. Avery placed a gentle hand on her arm. "You're not obligated to tell me details, but if someone is threatening you, we can help. And with your pregnancy, we need to know what risk factors exist." Harper swallowed hard. She thought of Landon's rage, his messages, his threats, his cold eyes when she told him she was pregnant months ago. "I'm not safe with my husband," she whispered, a confession shaking loose from the deepest place inside her. "I left him tonight." The doctor nodded, as if she'd already suspected. "We can put a temporary block on your location in the system. Only essential staff can access your room file, and if anyone calls asking about you, they'll be told nothing." Tears sprang into Harper's eyes. "Thank you. You and the babies come first," Dr. Avery said with steady warmth. "Rest. I'll send in Mr. Harriman." When she left, the room felt quieter. Too quiet. Harper stared at her hands, replaying Landon's threats, the blood, the fear. The door opened softly. Cole stepped inside. He looked different than before, less composed, more shaken. His tie was loosened, his hair slightly out of place, suit jacket folded over his arm. His eyes went straight to her. "Harper," he exhaled, relief spilling into his voice. "You're awake." Her throat tightened at the sight of him. "You stayed?" "Of course, I stayed." "You didn't have to," she whispered. He stepped closer. "I did." Silence stretched between them, heavy, uncertain, strangely intimate. "I told the hospital to lock your information," Cole said. "No one gets near you unless you want them to." Her breath trembled. "Landon, he won't stop. He'll come looking." Cole nodded slowly. "I know." There was something in his eyes, something she couldn't read. Something that unsettled her and steadied her at the same time. "Harper," he said quietly, "there's something you don't know. Something I should have told you a long time ago." Her pulse quickened. "What is it?" she asked. Cole hesitated, jaw tightening. Before he could speak, the door burst open. A security guard rushed in, face pale. "Mr. Harriman, sir, we have a problem." Cole turned sharply. "What happened?" The guard swallowed. "Your husband, he's here." Harper's blood ran cold. "He's demanding to see her." Harper's heartbeat slammed against the inside of her chest, syncing with the frantic beeping of the monitor. The room suddenly felt too small, too bright, too exposed. Landon was here. The one person she feared most. The one person who should have protected her, but instead pushed her into running for her life. The guard stood stiff at the doorway, breathing hard as if he had sprinted across the hospital. Cole's expression shifted not with fear, but with something darker. Controlled, calculated, a coldness Harper had never seen in him. He stood from her bedside slowly, rolling his sleeves to his elbows in one fluid, deliberate motion, as if preparing for confrontation. "Where is he?" Cole asked. "Downstairs at the front desk," the guard said. "He's demanding information. He keeps saying his wife is here." Harper flinched at the word wife. She wrapped her arms around herself, fingers trembling. The babies shifted inside her, sensitive to her panic. "He didn't see you come in?" Cole pressed. "No, sir, but he's agitated, loud, making a scene." Cole's jaw hardened. "He's trying to intimidate his way past protocol." The guard nodded nervously. "He threatened to sue the hospital if we didn't let him up." Harper's breath stuttered. "Cole, please don't let him near me. Not now, not when I'm like this." Cole turned to her immediately, his expression softening only for her. "He won't get anywhere near you. I'm here. I won't let him touch you." Her throat tightened at the certainty in his voice. No one had defended her like that in years. Cole faced the guard again. "Put 2 men at every elevator, no exceptions. And inform security downstairs that Mr. Price is not allowed past the lobby. If he forces his way, call police." "Yes, sir." When the guard left, Cole closed the door and locked it quietly. Then he turned back to Harper, his shoulders tense but his voice low and steady. "He's losing control, Harper. That's why he's here, because he knows he's slipping." "But he sounds angry," she whispered. "When he gets angry, he—" Her voice cracked. She couldn't finish the sentence. Cole stepped closer, kneeling beside her again. "Look at me." She did. His eyes were steady, warm, despite everything happening around them. "You don't have to go back to him," he said. "Not today, not ever." "Landon doesn't let go," she whispered. "He makes you pay for leaving." "I won't let him hurt you," Cole repeated. "You and the twins are under my protection now." A tear escaped down Harper's cheek. "Why are you doing this for me, Cole?" He hesitated again. The same hesitation she saw earlier before the guard burst in. "There's something I need to tell you," he began. But before he could finish, heavy footsteps echoed in the hallway, loud voices, then banging. Someone pounded on the door hard enough to rattle the frame. Harper recoiled instantly, terror coursing through her blood. "Harper, open the door," a voice roared from the other side. "I know you're in there." "Landon," his voice sharp, venomous, frantic, shot through her like electricity. Cole stood up, placing himself between Harper and the door without hesitation. "Don't move," he murmured. "Stay on the bed. Do not get up." Another slam. "Harper, I swear to God, if you don't open this door—" "Back away from the door," Cole barked, voice thunderous. "You're violating hospital security. Leave now." Landon laughed, a sound so full of rage it twisted her stomach. "You think you can hide my wife from me? She's coming home with me tonight." "She's not," Cole said coldly. "Who the hell are you?" Landon snarled. Cole stepped closer to the door, voice steady, chilling. "The man protecting the woman you tried to break." Silence. 1 heartbeat, 2. Then Landon hissed through the door. "She's mine." Cole didn't hesitate. "No," he said. "She isn't." Just then, security voices rushed down the hall, running toward them. But before they arrived, Landon shouted one last thing, a threat dripping with hatred. "You think she's safe with you? You don't know what she's done." Harper's breath hitched. What she's done? The hallway erupted into a storm of voices as security finally reached Landon, but Harper couldn't move. She sat frozen against the pillows, fingertips gripping the bedsheets so tightly her knuckles went white. The words he'd screamed through the door echoed like a curse. "You don't know what she's done?" Cole turned back toward her slowly, his expression tightening, not with suspicion, but concern, real concern. "Harper," he said gently, "don't listen to him. He wants you scared." But she couldn't shake the dread crawling up her spine. "Cole," he said it like I'm hiding something. "You're not," Cole insisted. "He's projecting." Abusers twist the truth to make themselves look like the victim. Voices continued rising outside the room. She could hear Landon shouting as security dragged him away, his fury spilling into the hall. Every word he spat sounded more unhinged than the last. She stole from me. She's unstable. You don't know who you're protecting. Harper flinched. Cole strode toward the door, cracked it slightly, and spoke to security in a low, commanding tone. Do not let him back into this wing. If he tries again, call the police and notify hospital legal. The guards nodded and guided Landon farther away until his rage-filled shouts faded into distant echoes. When Cole closed the door again, Harper finally found her voice. Cole, what did he mean? What is he talking about? I didn't do anything. But then she froze. Her mind snapped back to that moment in the apartment. The suitcase. Her rush to pack. The panic. The pain. The blood. And the small black object she'd shoved into her bag without thinking. The external hard drive. Her heart plummeted. Cole, she whispered, voice breaking. I think I accidentally took something. Something that belongs to him. Cole stepped closer. What did you take? A hard drive, she whispered. I didn't even look. I just threw it in the bag when I was trying to leave. But earlier, before everything happened, I saw Landon hiding it behind a vent in his office. He was terrified when he realized it was missing. Cole's expression shifted in an instant. Not fear, not shock. Recognition. He sat on the edge of the bed, lowering his voice. Harper, you didn't take something small. You took something dangerous. Her breath caught. What is it? Landon Price, Cole said, choosing every word carefully, has been under quiet investigation for over a year. Fraud. False invoices. Off-the-book accounts. Money movements that don't match his reported earnings. You're saying he's being watched? Cole nodded. Yes, and if he thinks you have evidence that can expose him, he won't stop. He'll escalate. Her stomach twisted with nausea. I didn't mean to steal anything. You didn't steal, Cole cut in. You saved yourself. That drive might be the only leverage you have. Harper pressed a hand to her forehead, feeling dizzy again. What am I supposed to do with it? Cole hesitated, then said something she didn't expect. You give it to me. She blinked. Why you? He exhaled slowly. Because I'm not just a manager here. I told you there was something I needed to explain. He looked into her eyes, letting the truth unfold. I own the Lexington Grand and 9 other hotels, and I've had business dealings intersect with Landon's company more than once. Enough to know he's dangerous, enough to know he's corrupted. Harper stared at him, stunned. You own all of this? Yes, and if that drive contains what I think it does, we can build a case to protect you. Her heart thundered. Protect me, or use me? The question came out sharper than she intended. Cole didn't flinch. Protect you, only you, and your children. She looked down, breath shaking. Harper, Cole said softly, if Landon is willing to destroy everything to get that drive back, then we need to see what's on it. She swallowed hard. It's in my bag. Cole stood. Then it's time to open it. But before he reached the bag, her phone vibrated again. A voicemail. From Landon. Harper's hands trembled as she pressed play. His voice, cold, low, and chilling, filled the room. You think you can hide behind him? You think you're safe? You have no idea what you've gotten yourself into. The message ended with a sound that froze her blood. Landon laughing and whispering her name? Harper's fingers trembled as the last echo of Landon's chilling laugh faded from the voicemail. Her throat tightened, a cold wave of dread settling into her chest. Cole saw her shaking and reached forward, gently taking her phone from her hands before the fear swallowed her completely. He can't reach you, Cole said quietly. Not here. Not tonight. But Harper wasn't convinced. Landon's voice had always carried a darkness she could never predict, a tone that meant danger was already unfolding. And now, with the hard drive, she had something he wanted badly enough to lose control over. Cole stepped toward her overnight bag at the foot of the hospital bed. Harper watched, heartbeat stuttering, as he unzipped it and pulled out the small black drive. It looked so unremarkable, so ordinary. Yet she knew, deep in her bones, that this object could unravel everything: her past, Landon's secrets, even the fragile protection she'd found tonight. Cole set the drive on the bedside table, his expression serious. If the data on here is what I think it is, then Landon's not just corrupt, he's desperate. Harper swallowed. What happens if we open it? His eyes met hers, steady, unflinching. Then we know exactly what he's running from. and what he's willing to do to stop it. She froze. "Cole, are you sure you want to involve yourself in this?" He didn't hesitate. "I already am." Something in his voice, a quiet certainty, made her chest tighten. She didn't have the strength to question it further. Not tonight. Not while her body still ached and her babies fought for stability. Cole turned toward the door. "I'm going to get my laptop. It's in my car. Don't move from this bed." "I'm not going anywhere," she managed. He gave her one last look before slipping out of the room. The door clicked shut. The quiet that followed was heavy, too heavy. Harper tried to slow her breathing, but her thoughts spun like a storm. What if Landon broke past security? What if he bribed staff? What if he... A soft shuffle interrupted her spiraling thoughts. Harper's head jerked toward the doorway. But no one stood there. She frowned. Maybe it was just a nurse down the hall. Hospitals were full of strange noises at night. She forced herself to lie back, eyes drifting toward the fetal monitor, the gentle heartbeat of her babies filling the room with rhythmic reassurance. Then, another sound. A faint tapping. Not at the door. At the window. Harper froze. The hospital room was on the 4th floor. No one could reach her window. Not from the outside. Not in this weather. The tapping came again. Her breath hitched. "Hello?" Silence. She reached for the call button but paused when a shadow moved on the other side of the frosted glass. Her chest tightened violently. Then she heard it. A voice. Muffled. Close. "Harper." Her blood turned to ice. That voice. It wasn't possible. It couldn't be him. She forced herself out of the bed, legs trembling as she shuffled toward the window. Her heartbeat thudded painfully against her ribs. She took one more step, and then she saw it. A smear across the outside of the glass, dark, streaked, elongated like a hand had dragged across it. Snow clung to the pane, but there, beneath it, smeared unmistakably, was blood. Harper staggered back, hitting the IV pole with a clatter. Panic clawed up her throat. She stumbled toward the bed, reaching desperately for the emergency call button. Footsteps echoed down the hall. Fast. Urgent. But not Cole's. A shadow passed under the door. Someone stopped directly outside her room. The handle twitched. Harper felt her pulse explode. The door slowly began to open. And she wasn't sure if it was rescue, or the beginning of something far worse. The door crept open, inch by inch, and Harper's breath snagged in her throat. Her trembling hand hovered over the emergency button, ready to slam it, ready to scream if she had to. Her heart hammered so violently she thought she might faint before she even saw who stood behind the door. But it wasn't Landon. "Harper?" A soft voice whispered. It was a nurse. Middle-aged, kind eyes, navy scrubs. The badge read, "Nurse Fallon." She stepped inside and closed the door gently behind her, eyebrows pinched with concern. "You're awake," Fallon said, checking Harper's monitors. "I heard a noise. I came to see if you were okay." Harper tried to catch her breath. There was someone at the window. Fallon paused only a moment before giving a practiced smile. "This building is 4 stories tall and surrounded by parking lots. No one can reach your window. It was probably melting snow." "No," Harper whispered, clutching her arms. "I heard a voice." Fallon's gaze softened. "You're under intense stress. Your mind can play tricks when the body is overwhelmed." Harper wanted to believe her. She really did. But the fear still crawled beneath her skin like ice. Fallon adjusted the IV line. "Let's get you lying back down." "Any more contractions?" "A few, not as sharp." "That's good. We want to keep everything calm. Stress can trigger preterm labor again." Harper nodded, slowly lowering herself back onto the pillows. The nurse tucked a blanket around her, checked the fetal monitor, and made a note on her chart. "Your friend stepped out for a moment," Fallon added. "He was very protective." Harper exhaled softly. Protective didn't begin to describe it. Cole had positioned himself between her and danger without hesitation, as if her safety were his personal responsibility. Fallon gave her a reassuring pat. "Try to rest. I'll be right outside if you need anything." She slipped out, closing the door behind her. Harper lay still, staring at the ceiling, trying to will her heartbeat to slow. Outside the room, the hospital hummed with quiet activity, footsteps, distant chatter, the occasional ding of machines. But something felt off. Too quiet. Too focused. She took a slow breath, but the weight in her chest didn't lift. She shifted to reach for her bag, the bag with the hard drive still sitting inside. She needed answers. If the drive truly held something catastrophic, then every strange moment tonight suddenly made sense. She pulled the bag closer, unzipped it, and froze. The drive wasn't there. Her stomach dropped. No, no, no. She tore through the pockets, the side compartments, the lining. Nothing. Footsteps approached again, this time heavier. She snapped her head toward the door. The handle turned. Her throat tightened. Cole? The door opened fast, and he rushed inside, breathless, laptop under his arm, snow still clinging to his coat. Harper. Cole moved straight to her side. Are you okay? What happened? She clasped his wrist, panic surging. Cole, the drive, it's gone. He froze. What? It was in my bag, now it's missing. His jaw clenched. Did anyone come in here besides security? A nurse, Harper whispered. Fallon. She checked my monitors. Cole's expression turned sharp. What was the name? Fallon. There is no Fallon scheduled tonight. Harper felt the blood drain from her face. Cole grabbed the hotel's private security phone from his pocket. This wasn't a nurse. Someone came in here for the drive. Her breathing hitched. Cole, who? He looked her dead in the eyes. Someone working for your husband. Before she could speak, security alarms blared through the floor. A code-red warning flashed outside the room. Cole's expression hardened. They're trying to get out of the building. Harper gripped the sheets as fear and adrenaline surged through her. And Cole sprinted toward the door, yelling for backup. Chaos erupted in the hallway the moment Cole sprinted out of Harper's room. Shouts echoed from every direction, security scrambling toward the stairwell where the alarms had triggered. Harper pushed herself upright, breath shaking, the fetal monitor picking up the sudden spike in her heart rate. She clutched her stomach, whispering to the babies to stay calm, though she barely felt calm herself. Her mind raced. Someone had come into her room, disguised as a nurse. Someone who stole the hard drive while pretending to adjust her IV. And if Cole was right, if that person was working for Landon, then the drive was now in the most dangerous hands possible. She tried to stand, but her legs trembled violently. She steadied herself with one hand on the bed rail. Don't faint. Don't collapse. You have to stay awake. Her phone buzzed again. She stared at the screen. Unknown number. Her throat tightened, breath caught somewhere between panic and fury. She almost didn't pick up, but letting it ring felt worse. She answered with a trembling whisper. Hello? A soft chuckle slid through the speaker. Well, Landon murmured. Looks like you've been busy. Harper's stomach flipped. Where's the drive? You mean my property? His tone sharpened, his fake calm dissolving into venom. You should have never touched what wasn't yours. I didn't mean to take it, Harper said, voice cracking. I didn't even know what it was. Liar. The word sliced like a blade. You planned this, running off, making me look like a monster. You are a monster, she whispered, shaking. You left me alone on Christmas. I was bleeding. I thought, oh, spare me the drama, Landon snapped. You want to talk about suffering? You don't know what suffering is yet. A loud crash sounded somewhere in the hallway. Harper flinched. Security yelling echoed closer. Landon lowered his voice. You think Harriman can protect you? He doesn't know you like I do. He doesn't know what you're capable of. Her grip on the phone tightened. I've never done anything to hurt you. That's the problem, Landon hissed. You're too naive to realize the damage you've already caused. Harper swallowed hard. If you hurt those babies, I'm not the one hurting them. You are, he snarled. Running around causing scenes, collapsing like some fragile doll. You don't deserve those children. The words stabbed into her, cruel and surgical. You won't get near them, Harper whispered. I won't let you. Landon laughed again, soft, terrifying. Harper, you already lost. Her stomach twisted. What are you talking about? But the line went dead. She stared at the phone, breath shuddering. Lost? Lost what? Before her spiraling thoughts could consume her, the door burst open. 2 security guards rushed inside first, followed by Cole, face flushed, chest rising and falling sharply. Harper, he hurried to her side. Are you okay? Did he call you? She nodded shakily. Cole. He has the drive. We know, Cole said. Security caught the impersonator fleeing down the stairs, too fast to seize but slow enough to catch on camera. We have her face. Her pulse throbbed painfully. A woman? Cole nodded. Someone Landon hired. But there's more. She didn't leave the building. Her eyes widened. What? She's trapped on the second floor. Security is closing in now. Hope flickered in her chest, small, fragile, but real. Cole cupped her trembling hands. We're going to get it back. And then we're going to end this. How? Her voice cracked. He sounds like he's losing his mind. He is, Cole said grimly. Men like Landon become most dangerous when they realize they're not in control. She wanted to respond, but a sudden pressure built in her abdomen, again sharp, strong, unmistakable. The fetal monitor spiked. Cole noticed instantly. Harper, is that? Her breath hitched. I think, she gasped, hand gripping her stomach. I'm contracting again. Cole's eyes widened in alarm. Outside the door, a radio crackled, and a guard shouted, We found her. She's resisting. She has the drive. Harper cried out as another contraction tore through her. Cole grabbed her hand. Harper, stay with me. But her vision blurred. Her body twisted. And she whispered through clenched teeth. The babies, they're coming. The contraction hit so hard, Harper thought her spine might snap. She clutched the rails of the hospital bed, gasping as the monitor beside her erupted in sharp, alarming beeps. Panic flooded her system, but she forced herself to breathe through the stabbing pressure building inside her abdomen. Cole immediately pressed the emergency call button. We need a doctor in here now. Harper groaned, her nails digging into the metal rails. Cole, it's too soon. They're not ready. They'll be okay, he said, gripping her hand. I'm right here. Just breathe. Footsteps thundered in the hallway, voices barking orders. The door burst open, and Dr. Avery rushed inside with 2 nurses. She scanned the monitor, and her expression tightened. Contractions are 3 minutes apart, Dr. Avery said. She's going into active preterm labor. No, Harper gasped. We stopped it earlier. Please, we have to stop it again. Dr. Avery shook her head. Your body is under extreme stress. We may not be able to slow it this time. Harper felt tears rise, hot and uncontrollable. Stress. Of course it was stress. The confrontation, the fear, the stolen drive. Landon's threats. Her body had been fighting too long. Another contraction ripped through her, and she cried out, arching off the bed. Cole's hand tightened around hers, grounding her. Harper, look at me, he urged. You can do this. She tried. God, she tried. Dr. Avery turned to the nurses. Prep the NICU. Page the neonatal team. We may need an emergency C-section. The words sliced through Harper's already thin resolve. Do whatever you have to, she whispered. Just save them. The nurses moved quickly, adjusting her IV, attaching new monitors, prepping equipment. The room became a whirlwind of controlled chaos. But through the noise, Harper heard something else. Security radios crackling. Suspect detained, drive recovered. A sharp jolt of adrenaline hit her. The drive, her babies. Everything was happening at once. Cole exhaled a breath he'd been holding. He leaned close to her ear. They found it. The drive is safe. Harper blinked through tears. Cole, you did the right thing leaving him, he said, voice thick with emotion. And now we're going to end this. Before she could respond, another contraction hit stronger, fiercer, pulling a ragged cry from her throat. Dr. Avery checked her dilation and nodded grimly. We're moving her to delivery. Now. The bed lurched forward as the nurses unlocked the wheels. The room blurred around her as they rushed her into the hallway. The fluorescent lights streaked overhead in dizzying white lines. Cole jogged alongside the bed, refusing to leave her side. You're okay, he kept saying. I'm right here. I'm not going anywhere. Harper clung to his voice like a lifeline. She felt like she was drowning in pain, adrenaline, fear. They rounded a corner, and everything came to a screeching halt. A figure stood at the end of the hall. Tall, rigid, hands clenched into fists. Landon. Harper's blood turned to ice. How the hell did he get up here? Dr. Avery snapped. Security skidded around the corner, seconds later, shouting, Sir, step back. But Landon didn't move. His eyes locked on Harper with a mixture of fury and something deranged. You're not taking my children, he growled. Harper shook her head violently. Landon, stop. You're hurting them. You stole from me, he spat. You ran. You think you can hide with him? His eyes darted to Cole, venom dripping. He doesn't love you. He's using you. Cole stepped between them, voice venomously calm. Get away from her. Security grabbed Landon's arms, trying to pull him back. He resisted, thrashing violently. "You think you've won, Harper," he roared. "You haven't. You don't even know the whole truth." Harper cried out again as another contraction tore through her. Dr. Avery yelled at the nurses, "Move! Go now!" They shoved the bed around a corner and hurried down the hall. Cole ran beside her. Harper gripped his hand, trembling. "What truth?" she whispered, voice breaking. Cole looked at her, eyes filled with unease, because even he didn't know the answer. And somewhere behind them, Landon's final scream echoed, "Tell her who you really are." The delivery doors burst open as the nurses pushed Harper's bed into the brightly lit room. The sudden glare made her eyes water, but the pain tearing through her body drowned out everything else. Machines beeped in rapid bursts. "Doctor," Avery issued orders with clipped urgency. Harper tried to focus, but Landon's final words echoed through her mind like a warning she wasn't ready to understand. "Tell her who you really are." Cole rushed in behind the bed, ignoring the nurse who tried to stop him. "I'm staying," he said, voice steel. "She needs me." Dr. Avery didn't argue. "Fine, stay out of the medical team's way." Another contraction ripped through Harper, stealing her breath. She cried out, arching off the bed as the nurses held her steady. "You're dilating faster than expected," Dr. Avery said, checking the monitor. "Your body is in full labor. We're not doing a C-section unless necessary. It's safer for the babies this way." Cole moved to Harper's side, gripping her hand. "Harper, listen to me. You're strong. You can do this." She shook her head, tears pouring down. "Cole, what did he mean? What didn't he tell me?" Cole hesitated, his features tightening with a guilt she had never seen in him. For a moment, the delivery room noise faded. The machines, the orders, the nurses preparing equipment. All she could hear was his breath, uneven for the first time. "I was going to tell you," he said softly, "before everything spiraled tonight." "Tell me what?" she begged. But another contraction crashed into her, wrenching a scream from her throat before he could answer. She squeezed his hand with everything she had, fingers digging into his skin. "Good, Harper," a nurse said. "Keep breathing through it. Slow breaths. Focus." The contraction eased, but fear stayed sharp and present. "Cole," she rasped, chest tight. "Please, I need to know." He swallowed hard. "I knew of you long before you came to work at the Lexington Grand." Harper blinked in confusion. "What? How?" "Your event proposals. Your designs, your name. I saw your work years ago." His voice lowered. "I wanted to hire you then. But Landon..." He shut it down. Her heart hammered. "Why would he do that?" Cole's jaw flexed. "Because he knew you'd outgrow him. Because he didn't want you anywhere near a world where you might thrive without him." Harper's breath stuttered. "Cole, why didn't you tell me sooner?" "I didn't want to overwhelm you." He dropped his gaze. "And because I didn't want you to think I was trying to take advantage while you were still married." "But what does that have to do with Landon saying, 'You're hiding something'?" Cole closed his eyes for a moment. "Because Landon thinks I approached you intentionally. Because he knows something else." He hesitated again. Harper tried to push herself up. A nurse gently pressed her back. "Don't move. The babies are crowning soon." "Cole," Harper whispered, panic edging her voice. "What else?" He met her eyes. Raw honesty, fear of losing her, something deeper. "I bought into Landon's company 3 years ago," Cole confessed. "Quietly, through a shell firm. I've been monitoring him for months. I knew he was crooked. I knew he might hurt someone close to him. I didn't know it would be you." Harper's stomach twisted. "You invested in his company?" "I was trying to save it before it collapsed," Cole said, "before his crimes dragged innocent people down with him." Innocent people. The twins. The truth hit her like a blow. "You two knew each other," Harper whispered. "Before I even met you." Cole nodded. "Harper," he said, voice breaking, "I wasn't hiding it to deceive you. I was hiding it because I didn't want it to scare you away." Another contraction ripped through her, silencing any response she might have made. Dr. Avery's voice sharpened with urgency. "One more push, Harper. One more." Harper clutched Cole's hand, tears streaming as pain overwhelmed everything. Fear, betrayal, truth. With a final, desperate push, a baby's cry filled the room. Then another. Harper sobbed as the nurses lifted the twins away. Cole squeezed her hand, voice trembling. "You did it, Harper, you did it." But before she could respond, the delivery room door swung open. A security officer stepped inside. "Cole," he warned, face grim, "you need to hear this." Harper's blood froze. Landon escaped custody. For a moment, the entire delivery room froze. The buzzing machines, the hurried nurses, even the soft cries of the newborn twins, all of it seemed to fade beneath the officer's grim announcement. Harper felt her blood run cold. The exhaustion of labor, the tidal wave of relief at hearing her baby's cry, it all vanished under a new, chilling fear. Landon was free. Cole straightened slowly, the muscles in his jaw tightening with a calmness that was far too controlled. "When?" he asked. "5 minutes ago," the officer replied. "He broke from the guards near the stairwell. We've locked down the floor, but he's somewhere in the building." Harper's breath caught. No, please, he can't be anywhere near the babies." Dr. Avery turned to the nurses sharply. "Move the twins to NICU. Now, put them in the restricted wing." Harper's hand shot out. "Wait, please, can I see them? Just 1 second?" The nurse hesitated, torn, but Dr. Avery nodded. "1 moment." The nurse turned and held up each tiny swaddled bundle just long enough for Harper to see their wrinkled faces, their pink cheeks, their fragile little hands curled like petals, both crying, both alive. Tears streamed down Harper's cheeks. Love and terror collided inside her chest. "Go," she whispered. "Keep them safe." The twins were rushed out through the second set of doors, toward the secure ward. As they disappeared, something inside Harper ignited, a fierceness she hadn't known she possessed. These weren't just her children, they were the reason she had to survive. Cole turned back to her. "Harper, listen to me. He's not getting anywhere near you or them." "Cole," she whispered, voice trembling, "you don't know what he's capable of." "I know exactly what he's capable of," Cole said, "which is why I'm not letting him get within 50 feet of this room." Another contraction of fear, not pain, tightened Harper's body. If he escapes the hospital, what then? He won't stop. "He won't escape," Cole assured her, but his voice steady as it was carried the slightest crack. The officer stepped forward again. "Mr. Harriman, we need to move her. This room is too exposed. There's a private recovery room with reinforced doors." Dr. Avery nodded. "She's stable enough for transfer. Move her carefully." Harper tried to sit up, but dizziness swept over her. The nurses eased her onto a new bed with raised rails. As they unlocked the wheels, another voice crackled through the officer's radio. "Suspect spotted on 3rd floor. He's heading upward toward maternity." Harper's heart plummeted. Cole immediately leaned down to her level. "Harper, keep your eyes on me. You're safe." "If he gets to me," Harper whispered, "he'll take the babies. He'll run." "Over my dead body," Cole said. The bed jerked into motion as the nurses rushed her through the corridor. Lights flashed overhead. Every shadow looked like a threat, every corner a potential trap. Halfway down the hall, a loud crash echoed from the stairwell nearby, metal slamming against metal. A nurse gasped, looking over her shoulder. "What was that?" The officer drew his radio quickly. "Teams, report." Static. Then, "Suspect breached the 3rd floor stairwell. He's strong, avoid engaging alone. Repeat, do not." The voice cut out. Harper gripped the rails, her breath coming in sharp, panicked bursts. She searched Cole's face for reassurance, but even he looked tense now. "We're almost there," he told her. 2 more turns." But as they approached the corner, a shadow flickered across the wall ahead. The officer held out a hand, signaling everyone to stop. Silence. Harper's pulse hammered in her ears. Footsteps. Slow. Deliberate. Getting closer. Cole stepped in front of Harper's bed, jaw clenched. The officer reached for his holster. Harper shut her eyes, terror choking her. Then a figure stepped into the hallway. Not Landon. A nurse. Out of breath, eyes wide with panic. "Security just cornered him," she cried. "He's armed with something metal, maybe a pipe. They're trying to contain." But before she could finish, a scream erupted from down the hall. A scream Harper recognized. Landon's voice. Raging, unhinged, and close. Too close. The scream ripped through the hallway like a blade, freezing everyone in place. Harper's breath stuttered. Even the nurses pushing her bed halted mid-step, wide-eyed and trembling. Landon's voice, raw, furious, wild, echoed from somewhere around the corner. The sound of something heavy slamming against metal followed, then another agonized shout. Cole didn't wait. He stepped forward, placing himself between Harper's bed and the approaching chaos. His hands curled into fists, posture tight, eyes narrowed with lethal focus. "Move her now," he ordered the nurses. "Don't stop unless I say so." The officer nodded sharply and motioned for them to continue. They pushed Harper's bed faster this time, wheels squeaking across the polished floor. Harper clung to the rails, her breath shaking with every jolt. "Cole," she whispered, voice breaking, "please don't let him touch my babies." He glanced at her over his shoulder. "I won't. I swear to you, Harper." But she could hear the fear behind his calm, the same fear she felt in her bones. They turned the next corner and almost collided with two security guards dragging a wounded officer away from the stairwell. Blood trickled down the officer's forehead. "He came at us with a metal bar," one guard said breathlessly. "He's not thinking straight. He's on something." "Or he's desperate," Cole muttered. Harper bit down on a sob. Desperate Landon was the deadliest Landon. The hallway lights flickered suddenly. The overhead intercom crackled. Then a panicked voice echoed through the speakers. "Code black on maternity. All staff shelter in place." "Repeat, code black." The nurses paled but didn't stop. They turned sharply into a narrower hallway leading toward the secure wing, where reinforced doors and limited access offered the only real safety in the building. But Harper's terror surged again when she heard the next sound. Running footsteps. Fast. Heavy. Coming from behind them. "Go!" Cole shouted. "Move!" The officers beside them formed a protective shield, drawing batons as the pounding footsteps grew louder, closer. Then Landon's voice boomed through the hall. "Harper." Her entire body seized. Tears spilled onto her cheeks. "Stop!" he roared. "Bring her back." "She's mine." Cole spun around just as Landon appeared at the far end of the corridor, hair disheveled, shirt torn, blood streaked across his temple, eyes blazing with manic fury. In his hand, a bent metal railing he had ripped from the stairwell wall. When his gaze locked on Harper, something inside him snapped. "She stole my children," he bellowed. "She stole everything." "Landon, stop," Cole shouted. "You need to back away, now." But Landon didn't even hear him. He charged forward, metal bar raised. The officer stepped into his path, trying to block him. Landon swung. The metal collided with a sickening crack, sending the officer crashing into the wall. Harper screamed. The nurses pushed harder, nearly running now. "Faster," Cole barked. But Landon didn't slow. He chased them, feet pounding like thunder on the tile floor. "You think you can hide her, Harriman?" he roared. "You think she'll choose you?" Cole stopped abruptly, turning to face him fully. "You're not taking her," he said, voice low and lethal. Landon lunged. Cole dodged the first swing, grabbing Landon's wrist and slamming him against the wall. The metal bar clattered to the ground, but Landon shoved back with wild strength, knocking Cole off balance. The two men struggled violently, fists flying, grunts echoing through the hall. Landon fought like an animal cornered, clawing and striking without restraint. "Stop," Harper cried, sobbing. "Cole, please." But they didn't stop. Landon slammed Cole against the floor, reaching for the metal bar again. The nurses veered Harper's bed around the final corner toward the secure wing. But Harper didn't see the doors. She saw something else. Cole on the ground. Landon lifting the metal bar. Preparing to strike. "No!" Harper screamed. Her voice echoed through the corridor, just as Landon raised the weapon over Cole's head and brought it down with full force. The moment the metal bar came swinging down, Harper let out a scream so raw it tore through the entire maternity wing. But the sound of metal striking skull never came. Instead, a deafening clang echoed through the hall as Cole rolled at the last second, the bar smashing into the floor where his head had been a split second earlier. Sparks flew off the tile. Landon stumbled forward from the force of the swing, cursing under his breath. Cole pushed himself up, blood dripping from a cut above his eyebrow. Harper watched, trembling violently, unable to look away. She was supposed to be resting, recovering, safe, but instead she was watching the father of her children trying to kill the only man who had protected her. "Stay down," Landon roared, grabbing the bar again. Cole rose anyway, jaw clenched, breath ragged. "I'm not letting you near her. You think you can save her?" Landon spat, swinging again. "You think she's your responsibility?" Cole dodged, blocked with his forearm, then slammed his shoulder into Landon's chest, driving him backward. The bar slipped from Landon's grip and slid across the floor. The nurses pushing Harper's bed screamed for more security, but the hall around them felt like a battlefield. Broken officer, blood on the tiles, flickering lights. Landon lunged at Cole with bare hands now, fueled by adrenaline and pure rage. "You ruined my life," Landon growled, swinging wildly. "No," Cole shot back, dodging another blow. "You ruined your own." His fist connected with Landon's jaw, a brutal, sharp crack that sent Landon stumbling. But the man didn't fall. He straightened, staggered, then charged again like a bull blinded by hate. Harper sobbed from the bed. "Cole, stop. He'll kill you." "He's not touching you," Cole shouted back, voice shaking with fury and something else, something deeper. Landon tackled Cole to the ground. They crashed against the wall, fists slamming into ribs, shoulders, anything they could reach. Cole groaned as Landon pinned him by the throat. "You think she loves you?" Landon hissed. "You think she'll ever choose you over the father of her kids?" Harper's heart cracked, pain ripping through her. She wanted to scream the truth, but her voice wouldn't come. Cole rasped, struggling beneath Landon's grip. "I don't need her to choose me." Landon narrowed his eyes. "Then why?" Cole's voice broke. "I just needed her safe." Something in Landon's expression shifted, an ugly, twisted realization. Then his grip tightened like a vice. Harper's scream pierced the hallway. "Let him go." Two security guards rounded the corner at full speed. "Step away from him." But Landon didn't stop. His fingers dug deeper. Cole's face reddened. Harper felt herself unraveling. "Please, please someone help him." The guards lunged. Landon jerked away at the last second, grabbed the fallen metal bar, and swung it toward the closest guard. The guard ducked, caught Landon's wrists, and fought to restrain him. Another guard tackled him from behind. The three men battled violently, limbs clashing, boots scraping across the tile. Finally, with a brutal struggle, they slammed Landon against the wall and locked his arms behind him. "Let go of me," he shouted, thrashing. "She's my wife, my children. You can't take them." "You lost them," Cole rasped from the floor, clutching his bruised throat. "You lost everything." Security wrestled Landon into cuffs. He kept screaming, eyes wild, spittle flying. "Harper, you don't know what he is, what he wants. You think he's saving you? He's lying." Harper shook violently, tears streaming, body still weak from labor. "Stop," she whispered. "Just stop." Landon's voice cracked into something unhinged. "You have no idea what he's been hiding." Cole forced himself to stand, battered but steady. "Take him to holding. Now." The guards dragged Landon away, kicking, screaming. As they disappeared down the hall, silence swelled around Harper and Cole. Harper reached for him with trembling fingers. "Cole, what else haven't you told me?" His eyes closed for a long, heavy moment. Then he whispered, "Enough that you deserve the truth before it destroys us both." Harper watched Cole with a mixture of exhaustion, fear, and something that felt dangerously close to hope. The hallway around them still smelled of metal and adrenaline. Nurses whispered urgently at the far end, cleaning blood from the tiles. Security officers tightened patrols outside the double doors, but all Harper could see was Cole bruised, scraped, and standing in front of her like he was willing to take on the entire world for her. "Cole," she whispered, gripping the bed rail, "please tell me, what truth was he talking about?" Cole wiped a streak of blood from his cheek, exhaled shakily, and stepped closer to her bedside. "Not here," he said quietly. "Let's get you into the secure room first." The officer nodded, signaling the nurses to continue pushing Harper's bed. Cole walked beside her the whole way, hand hovering just above hers, not touching, but close enough for her to feel the warmth. The security wing doors slid open with a coded beep, sealing behind them like a vault. Reinforced walls, limited access, cameras everywhere. Finally safe. At least physically. Emotionally, Harper felt like she was dangling off a cliff. The nurses settled her into the private recovery room, soft lighting, thicker doors, a window looking out toward the city. Dr. Avery checked her vitals, then stepped away to update the NICU. For a moment, the room fell silent. Cole stood at the foot of her bed, shoulders tense, eyes troubled. Harper swallowed. "Cole, I can't take the guessing anymore. I need the truth." He pulled a chair closer and sat, leaning forward, elbows on his knees. "Harper, some of what Landon said was manipulation, but some of it," he looked down, "some of it is rooted in something real." Her heart lurched painfully. Please don't say you knew him better than I thought. He shook his head. No, but I knew of him. More than I told you. A cold shiver raced through Harper. What does that mean? Cole took a long breath. 3 years ago, I invested in several companies using a private portfolio. One of them was Landon's firm. It looked promising then. Strong accounts, high returns, clean financials. At least on paper. What happened? Harper whispered. I started noticing discrepancies, numbers that didn't add up, sudden losses hidden behind miscellaneous expenses, money moving through shell vendors that didn't exist. His voice tightened. Landon was laundering funds, small amounts at first, then bigger ones. Harper's stomach twisted. Did you confront him? No. I stayed quiet. I hired people to investigate privately. I didn't want to scare him into covering it up. He paused. That drive you took by accident, it probably contains the very evidence I've been chasing. She blinked fast, gripping the blanket. So you didn't help me because you wanted something from me? No, he said firmly. I helped you because you were in danger. That drive just proved what I already suspected. Her throat tightened. Then what truth did Landon mean? Cole hesitated. It wasn't fear, it was something heavier: guilt. Harper, he said quietly, I knew your name long before you applied to the Lexington Grand. I didn't recognize you by coincidence. I knew who you were. She frowned, confused. How? Cole swallowed. Because your name and signature were on several of the false expense reports I uncovered. Her breath froze. What? She whispered. He forged them, Cole said quickly. Your handwriting, your approval stamps. He used your identity without you knowing. To cover his fraud. The room spun. He made me sign things, Harper whispered, panic rising. He said they were for our taxes, for insurance forms, for household accounts I didn't know. I know, Cole said, voice softening. You didn't do anything wrong. But on paper, he made it look like you authorized thousands of dollars in fraudulent transfers. Harper felt like she'd been punched. So he wasn't just trying to hurt me emotionally, he was setting me up. Yes, Cole said. If he ever needed a scapegoat, he could claim you were the one stealing from him. Her entire body trembled as the reality settled like ice. Cole, she whispered, voice breaking. Am I in trouble? He moved closer, taking her hand gently for the first time. Not while I'm here. I'll clear your name. I will fix this. Tears blurred her vision. Why? Why help me this much? For a moment, he didn't answer. Then he finally whispered, because you were the only thing he ever got right, and he didn't deserve you. Harper didn't breathe for several seconds. Cole's words sat between them like something fragile and dangerous, something that could either save her or shatter everything. She stared at him, stunned, her pulse trembling through every inch of her body. You think I was the only thing he got right? She whispered finally. Cole nodded once, slow, controlled. Yes. And he destroyed it because he destroys everything good he touches. Harper swallowed hard, blinking back the rise of tears. But you, why does it matter to you what he thinks I was to him? Cole hesitated. And the silence that followed was thick enough to make her heartbeat trip. Before he could answer, the door opened. Dr. Avery and a security officer stepped inside. Harper, your twins are stable, Dr. Avery said gently, but they'll stay in NICU under full observation. They're strong, a little early, but strong. Relief swept across Harper so fast she sagged into her pillows. Thank God. But we have a situation, the officer added. Landon has been moved to a holding area inside the building until police transfer him. He's restrained, but he's been screaming your name nonstop. Harper's stomach nodded painfully. I can't deal with him. Not after everything. You won't have to, the officer reassured. He's secured behind reinforced glass with multiple guards. Cole turned sharp. Make sure he has no access to phones. No more calls. No more threats. We've already confiscated his belongings, the officer replied. Dr. Avery placed a gentle hand on Harper's shoulder. Rest. Your body has been through trauma. Nothing will happen to you or the babies tonight. They left, closing the door softly. Finally, it was just Harper and Cole again. Cole exhaled, running a hand through his hair. You don't need to face him anymore. I'll handle the rest from here. Harper studied him, really studied him. The scratch on his jaw, the bruise darkening under his eye, the redness on his throat from where Landon choked him. He'd put his life on the line for her tonight. And yet, She still sensed he was holding something back. "You didn't finish," she said softly. Cole looked up, startled. "You said he didn't deserve me," Harper continued. "But that wasn't the whole truth." He closed his eyes, jaw tightening. "Harper, tonight isn't the time." "It's exactly the time," she whispered. "I need to know everything before I walk into whatever comes next." Cole hesitated, then finally sat beside her bed again. "When I first saw your name on those reports," he said quietly, "I didn't believe for a second you were involved. I dug deeper because I wanted to protect you, even before I met you." Harper's breath caught. "Protect me? You didn't even know me." "No," Cole said, "but I knew your work, your reputation in the event world. Every person who'd worked with you said the same thing. You were honest, talented, humble, someone who lifted others up." Her eyes stung with a sudden ache. No one, certainly not Landon, had spoken about her like that in years. "When you applied for a job at the Lexington Grand," Cole went on, "I told HR to flag your application for me." Harper's lips parted. "Wait, you're the reason I got that job?" Cole nodded. "Yes, and when I saw you walk in that first day, nervous but determined, I knew I'd been right about you all along." Her heart pounded, unsteady. "But I kept my distance," he said, voice dropping. "Because you were married. And because I didn't want to interfere with your life." "Cole," she whispered, tears sliding warm down her cheeks. "Why are you telling me this now?" He leaned closer, not touching her, but close enough for her to feel his warmth. "Because the truth is," he said softly, painfully honest, "I didn't just want to protect you." Her breath caught. "I cared about you," Cole whispered. "Long before tonight." Harper's chest tightened with emotion so deep it frightened her. But before she could respond, a loud crash shook the floor above them. Alarms blared. Security radios crackled. "Emergency on NICU level, someone breached the stairwell." Harper's blood turned to ice. Her twins were up there. And someone had reached the babies. Harper's entire body went cold. For a split second, her mind couldn't process what the overhead announcement meant. NICU breach? Stairwell access? Someone getting to the baby's floor? It didn't make sense. Landon had been restrained, surrounded by guards, locked away behind reinforced glass. Unless... Cole reacted before she could form a thought. He jumped to his feet, grabbed the radio from the wall, and barked. "This is Cole Harriman. Report now." "What's happening on NICU?" Static, crackled, voices shouting, footsteps pounding. Harper fought to sit up, ignoring the pain slicing through her abdomen. "Cole, my babies, my babies." "Harper, don't move," Cole said, voice tight with controlled panic. "I'm going up there." "No," she gasped, grabbing his wrist. "Don't leave me." Cole cupped the back of her hand, eyes fierce. "I'm not leaving you. I'm protecting them. I swear I'll bring them back to you." A nurse burst into the room, breathless. "Security needs Mr. Harriman now." Someone got past the emergency doors. "How?" Cole demanded. "They think..." The nurse hesitated, swallowing. "They think it was an insider." Harper's pulse stopped. "Insider?" she whispered. "Like, a staff member?" The nurse nodded shakily. "Someone with badge access. Someone who knew the codes." Harper's mind reeled. Who? Why? The drive? Money? Revenge? Or... A horrifying possibility sliced through her. What if this wasn't random? What if Landon had an accomplice? Cole squeezed her hand once and stood. "Stay here. Lock the door behind me. Do not open it for anyone except me. Cole, please don't let anything happen to them." He looked back at her, eyes burning with something fierce and unshakable. "I won't." Then he was gone. The door slammed shut. A nurse quickly engaged the lock. Harper lay frozen, staring up at the ceiling while alarms pulsed through the walls like a heartbeat gone mad. Her breathing turned shallow. Her children, barely minutes old, were somewhere above her in a ward now crawling with danger. "Is NICU safe?" Harper choked out. The nurse didn't answer immediately. She adjusted Harper's IV, her fingers trembling. "NICU is the most secure wing in the hospital, but tonight has been unpredictable." Unpredictable. A nice way of saying, we don't know. Harper covered her face, sobbing. She'd endured everything. Landon's abuse, the lies, the terror, the birth, and now, when hope was just within reach, someone else was threatening to rip it away. Her body shook. "Please," she whispered, "please, don't let anything happen to my babies." Footsteps raced past the door, distant shouts, radios cracking, then A chilling scream. Harper's heart plummeted into nothing. She grabbed the nurse's arm. What was that? What was that? The nurse ran to the window in the door, looking out with wide, terrified eyes. I don't know. They're heading toward NICU. Harper tried to get up again, but her muscles protested, pain shooting through her. Let me out, she begged. I need to go to them. You can't, the nurse said firmly, blocking her. Your stitches, your blood pressure, Harper, you could collapse. I don't care, she cried. Those are my children. Before the nurse could answer, the intercom crackled again. A male voice shouted through the speakers, frantic. We have the suspect cornered near NICU. Repeat, cornered. Harper clutched her chest. Cornered. But not caught. The radio on the nurse's belt suddenly crackled with another voice. I've got him, sir. Drop the baby now. Harper's scream tore from her throat like an explosion. No, no, no. She tried to throw herself off the bed, but the nurse grabbed her, holding her down with shaking arms. Harper, stop! You'll tear your stitches. Stop! Harper's vision blurred with tears, panic, and white-hot terror. Which baby? She sobbed. Which baby? The radio crackled again, this time with Cole's voice, fierce, commanding, alive. Put the infant down and step away. Now. A second later, a crash, a shout, a cry, high-pitched, small, alive. Harper collapsed into sobs. The nurse whisper cried, That was your baby, alive. That cry was alive. But before Harper could fully breathe, the radio erupted once more. Suspect down, we need medical. Harriman, stay back, he's armed. Harper froze. Armed? Which suspect? And then a horrifying realization struck her. Cole was up there, unprotected, facing the danger alone. And she didn't know if he would make it back to her. Harper's entire world narrowed to the frantic crackle of the radio and the pounding of her heart. Every sound from the hallway felt too sharp, too loud, like the universe was turning up the volume on her terror. She clutched the blanket to her chest, shaking uncontrollably. The nurse hovered beside her, equally pale, equally shaken. Cole, Harper whispered, voice cracking. Please be okay, please. Another radio burst cut through the air. Suspect is armed. He grabbed a NICU scalpel. Everyone stand back. Harper felt her stomach lurch. She tried to swing her legs over the side of the bed again. The nurse rushed forward. You can't get up. I don't care, Harper cried. My babies are up there, and Cole? You'll collapse, Harper. Let me go. She sobbed as her weak body betrayed her. Her legs buckled before she even stood fully, and the nurse caught her just in time, lowering her back onto the mattress. Breathe, the nurse pleaded. Please, you're going to faint. Harper pressed trembling fingers to her temples. She felt trapped in the worst nightmare imaginable, unable to protect her children, unable to help Cole, unable to do anything except listen. And then, Cole's voice exploded through the radio again, breathless and furious. Drop the scalpel right now. Harper jerked upright. Cole! The nurse froze. Another voice, high and panicked, responded through the static, a man's voice, unfamiliar. You don't understand. I'm not going to hurt the baby. I just need. The rest crackled out. Harper's mind spun. Not Landon. Someone else. Someone who had access. A nurse? A tech? Someone working under Landon's orders? The radio snapped again. He's cornered by NICU room 4. He has the child. Repeat, he has the infant. Harper broke. Which one? She screamed. Which baby does he have? No answer. Only chaos. Nurses rushing past the door. Security sprinting. A doctor shouting instructions. The whole hospital seemed to vibrate with fear. Harper gripped the rails again, knuckles white. Please let them be okay. The nurse leaned down. Harper, listen to me. One baby cried earlier. That means at least one is safe. We have to trust Cole and security for the other. Trust. Harper had trusted one man before, and he'd destroyed her. But Cole? Cole had bled for her, fought for her, protected her, risked everything. A loud boom jolted her out of her thoughts, metal slamming against a wall, followed by a growl of pain. Then Cole's voice, strained. Security, move in now. Harper felt her pulse stop entirely. Seconds stretched like hours. Muffled shouting erupted through the radio, a chaotic tangle of voices, a struggle, something crashing, a cry, an infant's cry. alive. A sharp grunt followed. Then, silence. Harper stared at the radio, her breath frozen in her chest. Had Cole been hurt? Was the suspect restrained? Had they gotten to her baby? "Come on," she whispered. "Please. Someone say something." Finally, the radio crackled again. "Suspect down. Infant safe. Harriman is with the child." Harper let out a sob that sounded more like a collapse. Safe. One word. But it didn't tell her everything she needed. "Is he okay?" she cried toward the nurse. "Is Cole okay?" Before the nurse could answer, footsteps thundered down the hall. The door flew open, and Cole stepped inside, alive, holding one of the twins tight against his chest, wrapped in a NICU blanket. Harper burst into tears. "Cole." He hurried to her side, gently placing the tiny infant in her arms. "She's okay," he whispered. "Your little girl is safe." Harper cradled the newborn, sobbing into her tiny head. "Thank God. Thank God." Cole knelt beside her, breathing hard, bruised and scraped anew. "What about my son?" Harper whispered suddenly, panic rising again. Cole's eyes softened. "He's safe too. Hit his head during the commotion, but NICU has him checked. He's stable." Harper pressed her forehead to her daughter's, overwhelmed. Cole rested a shaking hand gently on Harper's arm. "You're safe. Both babies are safe. And the man who tried to take them, he's in custody." Harper looked up at him, tears shining. "Cole," she whispered, voice trembling, "you saved my children." He shook his head. "I saved you, Harper." But before she could respond, a new voice erupted from the hallway. "Mr. Harriman, police need to speak with you immediately." Cole's expression darkened, and Harper realized this wasn't over yet. Harper tightened her hold on her newborn daughter as two officers stepped into the room. The tension swirling around them made the air feel heavy. Cole straightened slowly, jaw still bruised from the earlier fight, eyes dark with worry and exhaustion. The officers exchanged a glance before one of them spoke. "Mr. Harriman, we need a statement. The suspect from NICU is claiming he was working under someone's orders." Harper stiffened, her breath catching. "Whose orders?" The officer hesitated. "Your husband's." Harper felt sick. "But Landon is in custody." "He was," the officer replied, "but he's refusing to answer questions. He keeps shouting your name and claiming he was set up. He's also insisting that Mr. Harriman is lying about everything." Harper clutched her newborn tighter, pulse racing. Cole stepped closer to her bedside, calm but resolute. "Officer, whatever Landon is saying, it's desperation. He's losing everything. He's trying to drag Harper down with him." The officer nodded. "We know. That's why we're not here for interrogation." He glanced at Harper. "We're actually here to ask if you wish to file an immediate restraining order. Given the danger tonight, it will be approved within minutes." Harper didn't hesitate. "Yes, please, I want that." The officer handed her a clipboard. Her hands were shaking so badly the pen almost slipped, but she signed her name, her new beginnings, slowly, deliberately. When she finished, she looked up at Cole. "It's over," she whispered. Cole exhaled softly, relief washing over his face, but not all the tension left his eyes. The officers left, closing the door quietly behind them. For a moment, the room felt still, peaceful, the kind of peace Harper hadn't felt in years. She looked down at her daughter, sleeping softly against her chest. "She's so small," Harper murmured. Cole's voice softened. "She's perfect." Harper blinked up at him. "You saved her. You saved both of them." "And I'd do it again," Cole said simply. Emotion swelled in her chest. She reached out, fingertips brushing his bruised jaw. "You could have died tonight." His breath caught at her touch. "It would have been worth it." She swallowed hard. "Cole, why? Why risk so much for someone like me?" His expression cracked open, revealing something raw and unguarded. "Because you're not someone like you, Harper. You're someone I care about, deeply." A tear slipped down her cheek. "You barely know me." "That isn't true," Cole whispered. "I've known your character, your strength, your kindness, long before tonight. And after seeing everything you've survived, everything you've fought through, I know exactly who you are." Harper looked at him, really looked at him, the man who protected her, believed her, held the pieces of her together when she thought she'd break. And she realized something. With Landon gone, with her children safe, with the truth out, she wasn't scared anymore. She was free. A nurse rushed in suddenly, carrying a bundled infant. "Harper, your son, he's awake and hungry." Harper let out a joyful sob as her second child was placed into her free arm. Tiny, warm, alive. Cole watched the moment with eyes glistening, unable to hide his emotion. "You're incredible," he whispered. Harper looked up at him, two babies nestled against her heart. "Cole, I don't know what happens next. My life is a mess. Everything is changing." Cole stepped closer, voice steady, full of quiet certainty. "Then let it change. Let it become something better. And if you'll let me, I want to be part of that." Her breath trembled. Then, Harper reached for his hand. Their fingers intertwined. Not forced, not rushed. Natural. A beginning. Outside the room, officers' voices echoed faintly. "Landon Price is being transferred to federal custody. Charges include attempted kidnapping, assault, fraud, and endangerment. Justice. Real, permanent justice." Harper closed her eyes, holding her children, Cole's hand warm in hers. Finally, her heart felt safe. She whispered, voice trembling with gratitude and new possibility. "I want you in our future, Cole." His answering whisper broke with emotion. "Then you have me, all of me, doll." And in that quiet hospital room, surrounded by beeping monitors and newborn cries, Harper Ellington's new life began. Not in fear, but in love, freedom, and the justice she deserved. The end of one story, and the beginning of everything she never thought she could have. And just like that, our story comes to an end. But hey, you're still here, right? If you're hearing these words, it means something in Harper's journey touched you. Maybe her strength, maybe her fight, maybe the way she rebuilt her life when everything around her was falling apart. And if it reached your heart, that means you needed it. You know, the ancient Stoics believed that the obstacle is the way. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What stands in the way becomes the way." Harper didn't choose the pain she went through, but she chose what to do with it. She chose courage. She chose survival. She chose rebirth. And that's something every one of us can carry into our own lives. No matter how broken a moment feels, there is always a path forward. Not easy, not fast, but real. If this story made you feel seen, if it reminded you of your own strength, even a little, then stay with us. Like, share, and subscribe so we can keep walking through these powerful stories together. Because you're not alone here. And sometimes, all we need is a story that reminds us we can rise again.